Again, welcome back one more time. So, my dear kids, again this is Mithun Raj one more time. Welcome to the science class for class 10th. And today, the next part, almost last part of the transportation system in human beings, that is regarding blood pressure. Anyway, you are very familiar with this word, blood pressure. Okay, many of your parents, maybe grandfather, grandmothers, neighbors, uncles, aunts, and all, they are very much familiar about this particular word called blood pressure. So, actually, what is this blood pressure? From childhood onwards, you have heard this. Okay, my pressure is too high, my pressure is too low. So, why is this happening really? And what are the problems regarding that? So, in this class, we will discuss about all those things. Okay, it's just very small portion. Actually, only 1 mark or 2 mark questions comes from that part, but it's a general knowledge thing. Okay, even if you are not interested in science, but you must know what is blood pressure. Maybe in future you must have pressure situations in life and how to stop it and all. Anyway, we are not studying about how to stop it, but we will study what is blood pressure and what causes blood pressure. Okay, so let's start. Valves present between the left atrium and left ventricle and right atrium and right ventricle allows the flow of blood only in one direction. You already know that. That is the working of that valve. Okay, atrium to ventricle. The valve is the passage of that. Okay, and the valve won't allow the opposite direction flow of the blood. Otherwise, what will happen? Again, the blood will rush back into the veins. So prevent that. So atrium has valves and prevent the backflow of blood from ventricle to atrium at the time of ventricular contraction. So let's see what is this blood pressure. Before that, we must study two new terms. Okay, that terms is called as systole and diastole. So two new terms for you. It's nothing. Okay, it's nothing. The contraction of heart is known as systole. The relaxation of heart is known as diastole. Okay, contraction means when the left ventricle pumps the blood. At that time, it is contracted. The muscles will contract and the blood is rushed into the aorta. And after that, what is happening? This ventricle will contract and ventricle not atrium will contract and the ventricle will relax. At that time, atrium will pass blood into the ventricle. Okay, that cycle we can represent in medical terms called as systole and diastole. Okay, when blood leaves the ventricle, it is called as systole, and when the blood comes inside the ventricle, it is known as diastole. Okay, that's the two medical terms. Nothing. Contraction of heart is called as systole, and the relaxation of the heart is known as diastole. Systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. So, in medical stores or in clinics, after getting a checkup, maybe your parents or your grandfather and grandmother will come to your home and they will tell, "Oh my God, my blood pressure is like 100 to 140. My blood pressure is like 110 to 150." So, actually, what is this? Actually, what is this measurement they are telling? Actually, they are telling this systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Okay, when the ventricles is contracted, blood is pumped into the aorta. That time, what is the pressure inside our blood vessels? Mostly arteries. That pressure is called as systolic pressure. And in healthy human beings, the normal pressure or systolic pressure during contraction is 120 millimeter of hydrogyrum or mercury. Understood? It is measured in millimeters of mercury. Okay, the measurement is a bit more complex that you don't want to study. Okay, you only want to study these basic things. What is systolic pressure? pressure exerted by or pressure inside the blood artery during ventricular contraction or ventricular systole, that is called as systolic pressure. And systolic pressure of our common healthy human body is 120 millimeter of mercury. Okay, there is a apparatus to measure this blood pressure. In that there is a meter, it will show. And that meter is made up of mercury. But nowadays we are using electronic meter. Okay, electronic blood pressure meter we are using. Just what do you want to do? Tape it around your arm and switch on that meter. Automatically the blood pressure will be noticed there. Nowadays mostly the electronic meter is used. The old traditional meter we are not using. So actually this is a activity in your lab. If the classes were running normally, we must have done that in our lab. We must have measured how to measure the blood pressure of our own. It's just taping that in your hand, and a stethoscope we will keep inside. After that, a pump is there, a pump. We will pump it, and the pressure of that tape we have already taped around our hand will increase. And when the stethoscope starts to sound, at that time we must calculate the highest pressure and we must relax that pump. After that, when the sound ends, we will get the lowest pressure. In that way we are measuring. Anyway, I am not a doctor, I am not an expert of measuring this blood pressure. I have only done it in lab. Okay, experts are mostly those who are working in medical field. Okay, once if you are going to any clinics and all, just ask the nurses, they will explain it better than me. Okay, because they are working with it all the times. Okay, so you must study all these names. What is systolic pressure? What is diastolic pressure? When the ventricle is contracted, at that time the pressure of our body is 120 millimeter of hydrogyrum or mercury. That is called as systolic pressure. Okay, 120 mm per millimeter of, not per hydrogyrum, millimeter of mercury. And the diastolic pressure, when the ventricular is relaxed. Okay, when the ventricular relaxes, at that time the minimum pressure is 80 millimeter per not per 80 millimeter of mercury. So these are two types of pressure in our heart. Actually the heart is exerting the pressure, but we are measuring this pressure of our arteries. Understood? It's very difficult to measure the pressure of our heart. That's why we are measuring the pressure of our arteries. Okay, because of this pressure there is no reverse flow of blood in arteries. Okay, this pressure is not exerted in veins. That way veins have valves, arteries does not have valves, and arteries are more stronger than veins because they must withstand this pressure. Okay, there is some situation if the our pressure increases due to the friction of blood inside the blood vessels, the pressure will increase. We will study that later. At that time what will happen? The artery will burst out. Okay, it will break, and it's a very critical situation for a human being. And if the pressure went down also, that's also a problem. Immediate death will happen if the pressure is going down too much. Let's see. So you just remember these two names, systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Mostly 1 mark questions or 2 mark question. What is systolic pressure? The pressure of the blood inside artery during ventricular systole or ventricular contraction is fine. Ventricular contraction is systolic pressure, and that is 120 mm. This you must write. Understood? This also you must write with the answer. And the pressure of blood inside the artery during ventricular diastole is called diastolic pressure, and it is 80 mm per, not per, 80 millimeter of mercury. Some questions will come like, a person is experiencing systolic pressure of 180 mmHg. He is in a condition of high blood pressure or low blood pressure. Like that, applicable level questions will come. Once you understand these two types of pressure, then you will be able to answer it very easily. So this is the situation when the blood pressure is not normal. Okay, it is called as hypertension. And what will happen if hypertension is occurring in a human being? So if the blood pressure in is higher than the normal blood pressure, that is 120 per 80, 120 systolic pressure, 80 diastolic pressure, it is referred to as hypertension. That particular situation is called as hypertension. So what will happen during that time? Anyway, our heart is very strong. That ventricular muscle is very strong. So it has the capacity to pump with 120 mmHg, 200 mmHg, 300 mmHg, the maximum rate I don't know. But some of our arteries are not that much strong. Okay, the aorta is very strong, but when we go through our entire body, the aorta part is the biggest part. It can handle any pressure done by the heart. But when it comes to our different small capillaries or small arteries, those arteries and capillaries cannot withstand this pressure. At this situation, what will happen? At that situation, it will break down. Understand? That particular situation is called as hypertension. It can lead to the rupture of an artery and internal bleeding. Rupture means breaking, like cracking. And what will happen? The blood will bleed inside our body. You already studied in previous classes that if arteries are cut down, the blood will rush with more power. Because inside arteries there is a lots of pressure. Okay, so if this pressure increases like almost like 200 or 300, I don't know the correct value. If the pressure is increased by the heart, what will happen? The artery will break down and internal bleeding will cause. Internal bleeding is a very big problem. So what are the causes? Hypertension is caused by the construction of arterioles which result in increased resistance to the blood flow. A plague-like thing inside our blood vessels will come. Okay, a plague-like thing, like a yellowish thing, like a jelly we cannot say, like a cream, like butter. It's a particular situation. So hypertension, when it is caused, because these types of plaque will deposited inside our blood vessels. So this space is very less regarding the open. This is a normal artery. This is a diseased artery. See how much space difference is there. Understand? 100% of blood will flow through this, and the same pressure is exerted here, and the area to flow is this volume to flow is very low. So normally what will happen? The pressure will increase. Okay, that is the cause of this pressure. Okay, hypertension. In medically, very good explanations are there. Okay, medical terms. We don't have that much to study. Okay, only 1 or 2 mark question. So just understand that these plaque will be deposited inside our blood vessels, mostly in arteries. Okay, arteries, and in severe cases it can cause death also. Okay, in severe cases, just imagine some of the veins which is carrying blood to the brain is broken. Within minutes we will die. So it is a very dangerous situation. So it is better to check your blood pressure not regularly, at least once in a month. Not for you students, you are very young. I am telling about aged people, those who have problems regarding this blood pressure and all. So this is the main clause. The terms to remember is this: systolic pressure, diastolic pressure, 80 mm to 120 mmHg, and what is systole and what is diastole. Causes of high pressure is hypertension. So this is a particular chart. Arteries, veins and capillaries. Actually it is a 3-mark question. Okay, differences between artery, veins and capillaries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood from heart to various organs of the body. It is a 3-mark question. At the same time, each of these is also a 1-mark question. Explain the working of artery, explain the working of vein, explain the working of capillaries is mostly important among these, because veins and arteries is very simple. What is capillary? Just imagine. Exchange of materials between blood and surrounding cells take place in the capillaries. We already studied in last class that cells are very small. But these arteries and veins are not that much small. So direct transportation of oxygen or carbon dioxide cannot be done through veins or arteries. That's why a small network is formed at the end of vein and arteries, that is called as capillaries. Okay, capillaries is very small. The end of capillary is almost the size of a small cell. So it is very easy for the capillary to give oxygen to the cell and take back the carbon dioxide with lots of nitrogenous waste and water. Okay, so that is the notes I will give. Just study that. We already studied about this. So if we cut or if we take a cross section of a vein and a artery, we can see like this. Anyway, capillary's cross section is very small, so it is not practical to take it. See, the wall of arteries are very thick and it is highly elastic also. See, because blood runs inside an artery with pressure. Remember that. Veins, they are very thin walled because that much pressure is not there. But actually in this diagram one valve must be shown. In some parts of the vein there is valves, but it is not shown in this diagram. Okay, in real veins some parts that it has valves so that the blood won't reverse. Questions will come like this: which blood vessel in our body has valve, artery or vein? Arteries does not need any valve because the pressure inside an artery is very high. Okay, that is also application level question. Capillaries, they are thin walled and extremely narrow tubes or blood vessels which connect arteries to vein. Okay, it's very small, very small. So actually we cannot say the size. Cell size means very small. So okay, this is the photo. Sorry, this is the photo. See, if we cut the vein, we can see these are valves. The vein will contain valves like this. They do not have valves. Arteries do not have valves, but veins they have valve. See, only in one direction. In which direction the blood will flow? Inside this or outside? Only outside. Understand? That's the structure of that valve. And capillaries, it will look like this. This blue one is vein capillary and red one is arteries capillary. Okay, in between they will supply the oxygen to the cell and these vein capillaries will take back the carbon dioxide from the cell. So almost the human transportation system is finished. Why are veins not thick walled? These are questions, application level questions. Veins need not to be thick walled because the blood is no longer under pressure inside vein. Already the pressure is inside artery. After giving that blood to the cells, almost the pressure of the blood is very low. Okay, so veins does not need that much powerful wall. Veins have valves to ensure that the blood flows in one direction. That's also common sense question. Next one is blood clotting. You know already studied what is blood clotting. Which cell helps in blood clotting? Or which part of blood helps in blood clotting? Yes, platelets. You studied this before. Blood clotting is the mechanism that prevents the loss of blood at the site of an injury and wound by forming a blood clot. The blood has platelet cells and platelet cells are very less inside our blood. Why? Another question from that part. Platelet cells are very less inside our blood, only 0.01%. What will happen if the number of platelets increase? Common sense. It's not in textbook. You must think and answer. Yes, the blood inside our blood vessels will clot. Understand? And the blood won't flow. And with hypertension we will die. Okay, that's why in our body there's very small amount of platelets and the number of platelets is very low, also big problem. The blood won't clot. If a wound happen means continuously the blood will flow through that wound and we will lose the blood and we will die. Anyway, if it is high we will die. Anyway, it is very low also we will die. So better to keep it in that correct proportion. The blood has platelet cells which circulate around the body and plug these leaks by helping to clot. You know what is clotting, isn't it? Okay, fine. Clot the blood at these points of injury to prevent it from excessive bleeding. Leave it. Platelets in blood clotting. Blood has platelet cells which circulate around the body and plug the key. Okay, same. Okay, limb. We didn't study about this limb, did we? Actually, if we take inside our human body, hmm, between these blood vessels is running and all. If we touch our flesh, we can feel it is not 100% solid, isn't it? It is not 100% solid. It's a bit like juicy, not juicy, but we'll say fleshy. Understand? Between these capillaries, not capillaries, between these capillaries, veins, and this artery, there is a particular type of tissue cells called as limbs. Okay, particular types of tissue cells, mostly yellowish in color, like a fluid, or we can say like a gel. It also helps in transportation. This limb is very important. Okay, limb is a type of fluid that is colorless and involved in transportation, like blood itself. Limb is formed when some amount of plasma, proteins, and blood cells escape through the pores present in the walls of capillaries into the intercellular spaces. Okay, anyway, you studied in chemistry that cells will have space, not cells, atoms will have space in between them, isn't it? Like same, if the entire cell of our human body is being closely packed, then our body will be like rock, not like this fleshy body. Okay, there's a lots of space in between our cells. There's a lots of space and fluid, and that fluid is limb. Okay, that fluid is called as limb, and how it is formed? It is formed from plasma, proteins, and blood cells escaped from the capillaries. Okay, this limbs also helps in transportation. See, anyway, structure and all won't come for exam. This is a 2-mark question. Limb. Functions of limb: carries digested and absorbed fat from intestine and drains excess fluid from extracellular spaces back into the blood. So it will manage the level of liquid inside the blood. At the same time, it will carry digested and absorbed fat from intestine and all. That's not that much very big thing about limb. This is the difference between blood and limb. It is red in color, blood, and hemoglobin is present. That's why it is red. Colorless due to the lack of hemoglobin. There is no hemoglobin, it is colorless. Mostly it's like a yellowish color. Mostly it's like a liquid, so I can say it colorless. Our blood contains plasma, RBC, red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelets. You already know that. Our limb contains only WBC, white blood cells. The next one is transports materials from one organ to another in body. You already know that. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, other nutrients and all. Transport materials from tissue cells into the blood. Okay, that's the opposite. The remaining water and all, whatever thing is good to our body, it will be transported back by the limb. So next one, what? The path of circulation of blood is from arteries to capillaries to vein to heart. But in the case of limb, how it is going? From tissue spaces of cells to lymphatic capillaries and limb vessels, veins. Lymphatic capillary means this one. Okay, lymphatic capillary. See, small extension of the limb which mingles with the other capillaries. This is also important difference between. It's a 3-mark question. Okay, you can pause this video and you can write it to the classwork. Otherwise, I will give the note. Tonight I will give the note anyway. It will be a big note till transportation. The note will be given. The next one is transportation in plants, that we'll study in next class. Okay, this is a bit more complex than human beings. Anyway, it will take only 2 classes to finish that. You already studied about xylem, phloem and all. Xylem and phloem are the main thing in plants which regulates this transportation. Okay, that is also a simple part. And after that, excretion will also take 2 classes, and this big chapter is finished. Okay, life process, big chapter, important chapter. Lots of diagrams are there. Lots of 2 mark questions, 1 mark question, and 3 mark questions are there. Okay, and that earth part is very very important, not only for 10th standard, your future studies also. For your medicines or your nursing or your PUC first year, second year, or BSc botany, not botany, zoology, MSc zoology, anatomy, and all. So that's it. Transportation in human beings is finished. I hope you understand that part. Actually, biology part is very interesting than physics part. Anyway, after the end of this chapter, we will start with the first part of physics. Very interesting part called as electricity. Whenever physics comes, the students will run away from the classes. I hope you won't do that. Okay, electricity is a big chapter. That is also a big chapter. The maximum marks for 10th standard science will come from that particular chapter called as electricity. Okay, so that we will study next week. For this day, ST is finished. Transportation in plants. Tomorrow we will go through that. Tonight, wait for the quiz and all. Till then, Mithendra signing from this part of the world. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home. So, bye bye, my kids. Hope you liked the class. Okay. So, bye bye and take care and Jai Hind.